Well, welcome back to Shaddow Showcase, my tutorial videos on events and puzzles. As you can tell, this is probably very similar terrain if you watched my last video. That's actually because I'm going to re-record that. The quality was kind of low. Gonna try it again. I'm still kind of new to this, so I'm learning as I go. Anyways, what I've done here is damaged terrains, as you can tell by the different colored lava floors. Now, you might say, well, Ace already comes with damage terrains, and I agree, it does. But you don't get to control how much damage those do unless you change it, and that's a set amount for the damage terrains themselves. Now with this, you'll notice I have two different types of terrains with different numbers, 11 and 12. Each one does a different amount of damage. Now in addition to that, I'm not just doing damage terrains here. I'm actually just doing damage terrains as a simple way to go into the actual tutorial I'm going to teach you here, and that's skill levels. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just show you how I set up the terrain, because it's rather simple. I used my events for region IDs. The control variable to check the player's X and player Y, place that in a variable, tie it into a region ID number. Very simple. Then you do a conditional branch to check the region ID number, in this case 11. And in addition to that, you'll notice that I have the down button is being pressed. I have one of these for every direction. The reason I do this is because I don't want the player to continually take damage while standing on this terrain, though that is an option if you'd like that, though it'll drain them extremely quickly if you allow that, unless you put some weights in there. Now even now with movement, I still have to put some weights in there. Weight 5. This is about the time it takes from the players to step from one tile to the next. This is to keep it from bunching up and doing a ton of damage in a very short amount of time while they hold down the button to walk. Now you notice it's very simple. You just do a sound effect for fire, flash your screen a little bit red, and you're done. Now down in here you'll notice I have fire resist level conditional branches. This is where the skill level comes into play, which I'll explain momentarily. But you'll notice that you take 1, 2, 3, the damage increases as the level decreases. Basically it means that the more fire resistance you have, the less damage you take. Pretty simple, right? The other part is you control a variable every time you take damage. You increase the fire resistant experience variable from 0 to 4. Depending on the situation, you can gain a lot of experience or you can gain nothing. Now if you scroll way down here, you'll notice I am within the 12s now, checking if the last button is being pressed. On this one, you'll notice that the damage you take is doubled, but the amount of experience you can get is increased by 1 minimum and 1 maximum. So I kind of balance it out. You can design it however you want. That's the simple part of the damage terrain. Nice and easy. Next, you'll go into skill levels, which is the important part. Now with this, I put skill levels just for fire resistance. I haven't done any others yet, though I will come and do more later. This one, I just did something very simple. I haven't leveled up all of the fire terrain yet. I didn't bother putting in all of the common events for that. But you'll notice at level 1, whenever they increase the level, it controls a variable fire resist level equals 1 whenever they get 1,000 experience. And when they receive a small power-up animation, and it resets their fire experience to 0. And then it says fire resist level variable 8, which is the fire resist level variable, tell you if you're level 0 through 10. Now if you're level, for this I put fire resist level 2, just as an example that you can increase the amount of experience required per level if you don't want to do just something simple like 1,000 per level. And then it does the same process. Now, what I've done down here is just had a simple button press to call to check what your levels are. In this case, even though you can choose who you want to check, the first 3 characters, or more, if you have more characters in your team, fire resistance is one of those out-of-battle skills, so it'll probably increase seemingly the same for everyone on the current party, or everyone in the team altogether, even if not in the current party. That's up to you. But it's very simple. It just checks their level. And if it's level 10, it just tells you fire resistance level and calls the variable 10. If it's not 10, then it says fire resist level, calls a variable. Then it calls a current experience variable slash out of 1000. Now I didn't bother putting in this here, but obviously if you have multiple levels, you can do similar to what I did with level 10. So level 2 would actually say out of 4000 instead of out of 1000, if that makes sense. Just the amount of work you're willing to put into it is how detailed and skilled it's going to look. Now, one other option you have here is which skill. I chose this. Um, right now, only fire resist is the only choice. It's fire resist or none because I haven't created any other skills yet. But this is just an option for each player. And then it repeats for player 3, so on and so forth. Pretty simple, right? It's very simple. Every time you take a step, your experience goes up. Once you get to 1000, it increases. You start taking less damage. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how this works in game. It's actually rather simple. Now if you'll notice down when I start this game, you're going to see a custom sprite. This is actually Akel, the main character of Spirit Timer. This is a sprite that I've just recently finished. I hope I've got him properly uploaded in here, otherwise you might see him running around a bit naked. So here's hoping. Alright, just have to wait for my nice speedy computer to load up. So what do you think of the sprite? Nice and detailed, right? I hope so. You step through the terrain, you see it just flashes a little bit every time he takes a step. And he's taking damage and damage. Now this person here is just here to increase my hit points, so I can continue to mess around with this as much as I want. Now I push this button here, it asks who? Fire resistance. Fire resistance level is 0, but I've already gained 59 experience just from walking around. Now I just want to show you how this looks when you level up, so I'm going to go ahead and increase the variable manually just so you can see this. So we want to get the experience brought all the way up. That's down. And we want to get it to 990 something. 999 if it can. Actually, right where I'm sitting at, that's entirely possible. And then I'll show you exactly how it looks when you level up. You're not going to hear any of the sound effects or anything. I actually have the volume off currently, just because I'm going to be putting some background music in this video. See, imagine how long this is taking me jumping up 10 at a time. This is not a quick process for your players to go through, so once they actually get that increase, they're going to be able to see the level up in process. And here we go. A little bit laggy, but now fire resist level 1. Now if I push this one, actually it's the wrong button, check for Shaddow, fire resistance level 1, current experience 0. As you can see, it reset and continues again. Now just keep in mind, the way I set this up, if you do it just as I did, your players can die from damage terrain. You can choose to have that taken off. Whenever you have them deal damage, when they're ready to get to 1 hit point, you can actually put in a conditional branch to check and make sure that they're not taking any more damage. There's actually an option within the event itself when they take this damage. If you'll notice this here, you can click this to allow knockout, take it off, they won't die, they'll only get to 1 hit point. Pretty simple, right? Alright, well I guess that's everything for this video. I do hope you enjoyed this one and I explained everything very well. If you have any questions, please use comments below, and thank you if you subscribe.